kidnapping hotspots would benefit from the stronger legal framework. However, the proposal sparked debates among some lawmakers who questioned the effectiveness of the death penalty in reducing crime. Critics warned that Nigeria must also confront issues such as weak policing, poor intelligence gathering, and judicial delays, rather than relying solely on harsh punishments. And as part of efforts at containing the rising insecurity cases in the country, the National Economic Council Hello there. Glad to have you join us on this hour on African News 24 TV for news and reports of events going on around the world. I'm Mary Adam, and we begin with the President's commendations to the Senate for the swift confirmation of the former Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher MUSA, as a minister following his nomination a day earlier. In a post released on his official X handle today, President TINUBU expressed satisfaction with the upper chamber's timely consideration of MUSA's credentials, describing the approval as a demonstration of strong institutional cooperation between the executive and legislature. TINUBU stated that MUSA's wealth of experience in counterterrorism, military operations, and strategic leadership made his appointment a crucial addition to the federal government's security and governance structure. The President assured the lawmakers that under his watch, failures would not be tolerated. The Senate on Wednesday screened and confirmed the retired military chief after reviewing his service record and his role in leading joint security operations across troubled regions. Lawmakers noted MUSA's reputation for professionalism and discipline, while emphasizing that his new ministerial role would benefit from his deep understanding of Nigeria's security landscape. Still in the chambers, the National Assembly is asking the federal government to reveal the identities of terrorism financiers amid Nigeria's worsening abduction crisis. Both chambers, the Senate and House of Representatives, urge the government to expose and prosecute individuals and groups funding terrorism, banditry, and kidnapping across the country. During the plenary, senators debated amendments to the 2022 Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act, with Senate Leader Opeyemi Bamidele sponsoring a proposal to classify kidnapping, hostage-taking, and related crimes as terrorism. Lawmakers also pushed for capital punishment for kidnappers and their financiers, arguing that harsher penalties are necessary to deter the rising wave of abductions. Recent attacks have forced school closures in several states, including Kebbi, Niger, Kwara, and all 47 federal unity colleges nationwide. Meanwhile, a bill proposing the death penalty for convicted kidnappers has killed second reading in the House of Representatives, signaling lawmakers' renewed push to curb the country's escalating abduction crisis. Debating the bill on the floor of the House, its sponsors argued that the severity of kidnapping across Nigeria, ranging from ransom-driven abductions to mass school kidnappings, requires tougher penalties capable of deterring criminals. They described the rising trend as a national emergency that continues to strain security agencies, destabilize communities, and inflict serious psychological and economic damage on victims and their families. Supporters of the bill insist that capital punishment for kidnappers, especially those whose actions result in death or severe harm, would send a strong message to criminal networks that currently operate with boldness and impunity. They also stress that states battling persistent kidnapping hotspots would benefit from the stronger legal framework. However, the proposal sparked debate among some lawmakers who questioned the effectiveness of the death penalty in reducing crime. Critics warned that Nigeria must also confront issues such as weak policing, poor intelligence gathering, and judicial delays rather than relying solely on harsh punishments. And as part of efforts at containing the rising insecurity cases in the country, the National Economic Council has approved 100 billion to renovate and upgrade training institutions across Nigeria's security agencies. The move aims to enhance capacity building and strengthen operational readiness nationwide amid concerns about the deteriorating condition of critical training facilities. We have more in this report.
For these reasons,
the National Economic Council has sanctioned a 100 billion naira intervention fund to modernize major security training institutions, following briefings on the urgent need to upgrade infrastructure and improving training quality for personnel across the country. Announcing the approval after the NEC meeting in Abuja, Vice President Kashim Shettima said the initiative will support rehabilitation, equipment upgrades, and the introduction of modern training tools, noting that the intervention is vital for enhancing the preparedness of security personnel.
We will also receive the memorandum on the approval for the NEC conference. This conference is yet another strategic platform to harmonize federal and state priorities, strengthen sub-national capacities, and ensure that governance is not a fragmented project but a single national enterprise.
The approval responds to long-standing concerns about decaying facilities, outdated training modules, and overstretched staff at the nation's security academies. Factors analysts say undermines Nigeria's fight against crime and terrorism. Governor PUTIN of Enugu State, who also briefed journalists, said the fund complements ongoing reforms aimed at improving interagency coordination and delivering a more professional and effective security workforce.
An estimate of 100 billion was submitted to address some of the quick fixes so that those recruited or about to be recruited personnel will have a training ground.
Of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy provided updated figures at the 154th meeting of the National Economic Council on the underlisted accounts.
Experts, however, cautioned that the success of the initiative will depend on transparency, timely execution, and effective oversight as Nigeria continues to face escalating security threats across multiple regions.
Still on security, Nigeria is not a potential failed state. That's the position of the former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General BURATAI. In a statement posted on his Facebook page, BURATAI dismissed claims on social media that Nigeria is a potential failed state. BURATAI described such assertions as misguided and out of touch with the country's historical resilience. He argued that projections such as the 2011 CSAT assessment failed to recognize recent leadership reforms and the determination of Nigerians to overcome adversity. He said Nigeria has repeatedly survived political instability, economic shocks, and security threats that would have overwhelmed many nations. The former Army Chief commended past leaders for guiding the country through defining periods, adding that today's leaders are even more accountable and responsive to citizens. In other news, Governor of Abia State, Alex OTTI, has clarified that his recent meeting with President Bola Tinubu at the presidential villa was strictly focused on efforts to secure the release of detained indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB leader Nnamdi KANU, and not connected to any political defection. Speaking after his meeting with President TINUBU, OTTI dismissed rumors of defection, stressing that his engagement was part of a broader strategy to secure peace and stability in the Southeast. Quote, "This is not about politics or party movement. It is about justice, dialogue, and finding a lasting solution to insecurity in our region." End of quote. Governor OTTI, who has been vocal about pursuing dialogue and diplomatic channels to resolve the prolonged detention of KANU, visited the Sokoto Correctional Center last week to meet with the IPOB leader. His visit drew widespread speculation, with some political commentators suggesting that OTTI's subsequent trip to Abuja might signal a shift in party allegiance. President TINUBU reportedly assured OTTI that the federal government is open to dialogue and committed to exploring lawful avenues to address the matter. And in business, the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria has announced that it has repaid a total of 3.6 trillion naira to the Central Bank of Nigeria since its establishment in 2010. Despite this milestone, the corporation still owes approximately 3 trillion naira in accrued interest, underscoring the scale of Nigeria's financial sector cleanup. AMCON was created in 2010 to stabilize Nigeria's banking industry following the 2009 financial crisis. Its mandate was to purchase non-performing loans from district banks, thereby restoring confidence in the financial system. Over the years, AMCON has acquired trillions of naira worth of toxic assets, making it one of the largest debt recovery agencies in Africa. And in environment, experts are making a case for Nigeria to reconsider its waste management systems to prevent further damage to rivers, oceans, forests, and farmlands already overwhelmed by plastic waste. The one that millions of animals remain vulnerable as pollution worsens. We have more in this report.
Stakeholders at the environmental workshop has emphasized the need to convert plastic waste from an environmental burden into an economic asset through a circular economy model. Central to this approach is the extended producer responsibility framework, which places accountability on plastic manufacturers and importers throughout their product life cycles. According to experts, integrating circular principles would not only reduce environmental degradation, but also help preserve biodiversity by ensuring plastics are reused, recycled, and reintegrated into productive systems rather than dumped into the environment.
We are looking at plastic pollution and how we are going to use plastics as a circular economy to be able to make it, instead of being a curse, it will turn out to be a blessing, even to the biodiversity, because by the time we turn it circular, by the time we turn the pollution circular, then it will also help in preserving our biodiversity.
Our approach integrates EPR, what we call the Extended Producer Responsibility Program, to ensure that producers, which include both plastic importers and plastic producers, makers in Nigeria, take accountability for products throughout their life cycle. This is what we refer to as circular economy.
Participants also raised concerns about policy gaps, particularly the exclusion of waste pickers from formal environmental planning, despite their vital role in plastic recovery. They noted that the absence of structured government support undermines national effort to curb pollution, especially as improper disposal practices persist.
Waste pickers are mostly excluded in the environmental policies in Nigeria. Presently, we don't have any policy backing up a waste picker, and we don't have any plan on ground, a structured plan that is developed from the government side that has been adopted that will integrate these waste pickers into a formal system.
So as much as people are appreciating the environment and appreciating the ecosystem around them, there is also that negative behavioral response that we have seen, where people are still dump plastic waste, even in areas that they themselves claim are beneficial.
The Nigerian Conservation Foundation added that recommendations from the workshop will shape future national interventions aimed at strengthening Nigeria's response to plastic pollution and safeguarding species and ecosystems that depend on a cleaner, healthier environment.
And on the foreign scene, Russian President Vladimir Putin has touched down in India to begin a two-day state visit, underscoring Moscow's push to strengthen ties with one of its most important strategic partners. The visit, which runs from December 4 to 5, is centered on defense cooperation, energy security, and global geopolitical challenges. Putin is scheduled to hold bilateral talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi at Hyderabad House during the 23rd India-Russia Annual Summit. He will also meet President Draupadi Murmu at Rashtrapati Bhavan, where he will receive a ceremonial welcome and attend a state banquet. The Russian leader will pay respect at Rajghat, the memorial of Mahatma Gandhi, before engaging in working sessions with Indian officials. Modi is hosting Putin for a private dinner on Thursday night, a gesture reflecting the close personal rapport between the two leaders. Back to Africa, the United States President Donald Trump is set to host a peace agreement between the leaders of the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda, aimed at ending decades of hostility and conflict in the Great Lakes region of Africa. The signing ceremony will take place at the White House today, with Congolese President Felix Tshisekedi and Rwandan President Paul Kagame expected to formally endorse the accord. The deal seeks to normalize relations between the two neighboring countries, whose ties have been marred by accusations of cross-border rebel support, resource exploitation, and recurring violence in Eastern Congo. Analysts believe the accord could significantly reduce tensions in Eastern Congo, where armed groups have displaced millions and fueled instability. A successful peace framework may also strengthen regional integration under the East African Community, of which both Rwanda and DRC are members. Welcome to sports. The Nigerian national team, the Super Eagles, are reportedly likely to scrap their planned training camp in Cairo, Egypt, ahead of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations AMCON in Morocco. According to sources, a friendly match against Egypt scheduled for December 14 will probably no longer take place, a situation that removes the justification for camping in Egypt. With the warm-up game off the table, the team may instead head directly to Morocco to prepare for the tournament. The Super Eagles had earlier planned to begin camp in Cairo on December 10 as part of their build-up for AFCON. AC Milan have reportedly set a €30 million valuation for Nigerian winger Samuel Chukwueze, as Fulham weigh the option of making his loan move permanent. According to reports, the Serie A club is prepared to let the forward leave at the end of the season if Fulham activate the buy clause, which is believed to fall within the 25 to €30 million range. Milan are said to be prioritizing a full sale to reinvest funds in the summer rebuild. Chukwueze, who joined Fulham on loan, has enjoyed a resurgence in form, highlighted by his standout performance against Manchester City, where he scored twice in a narrow 5-4 defeat. His improved displays have reportedly strengthened Fulham's interest in securing him on a long-term basis. The winger has credited his strong form to renewed confidence under manager Marco Silva, noting the support from the coaching staff and teammates has helped him rediscover his rhythm. Fulham are expected to continue monitoring his progress before making a final decision on triggering the permanent transfer option. actress Bisola Badmus has marked her birthday with gratitude after surviving a serious brain condition. In a heartfelt post, she revealed that she had spent over a year battling encephalopathy, a brain disease that forced her to withdraw from social media. During the difficult period, she also lost her mother, making the ordeal even harder. She thanked God for her survival and expressed deep appreciation to family, friends, industry colleagues, and supporters who have stood by her throughout the ordeal. Still on phobia, veteran singer Peter Okoye, popularly known as Mr. P, has said that despite fame and success, his greatest fear remains poverty, not death. Recalling his difficult childhood, Okoye recounted how his family once lived in a cramped single-room apartment with 8 people. He said the house was demolished while they were still inside, forcing them into hardship and instability. According to him, that experience shaped his outlook, saying, quote, "I am not afraid of death. The only thing I am afraid of in this life is poverty, of being broke," end of quote. That is all for now on African News 24 TV. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to connect with us on all our social media platforms shown on your screen and visit our website at africannews24.ng for the latest updates. We'll return with more news and updates at 6 o'clock. I'm Mary Adam. Goodbye for now.